All right, good night and welcome to Sibling Sync. I'm not even going to give you the long speech because we got plenty of playoffs to talk tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
Plenty. I didn't see the playoffs going the way it went. So for me, I'm like, I don't know if I'm in the real world or if this is fake because the Knicks are up 3-1
That's right.
on the Celtics.
Let's get into it.
Hello. All
Hmm.
right. I'm gonna let you go first. I'm gonna let you start because I got plenty to say about them Knicks.
Yeah, I've been so impressed with the Knicks. Um, Even though they lost the last game, um, just their grit. Like they play with so much grit. They play with so much, intensity and physicality. And as a coach, I love to see that. You know,
As
I
a
love.
fan, this is awesome.
Yeah, I love to see the fire that they play with. And they did the same thing in Boston. The grit that that they play with on the road in Boston. Yeah,
And
I
I
love.
think that's what. Go ahead.
No, I love that style of play. That
Yes,
physicality, that intensity, that grit. You know.
they have brought something that Boston didn't expect,
Yes.
and
Yes.
um, for both the top teams in the East right now to be down 3-1 in the
Yes.
series on the point of elimination, I don't even know what to say. I mean, the Pacers lost one yesterday, 129 to 109, and for the Knicks tonight to take it 121 to 113,
Yeah.
with both of these top seeds that everybody expected, any one of them could go to the finals. For
Yep.
both of them to be on the brink of elimination is incredible.
I know.
It's incredible.
And that's why they say the playoffs, no matter what sport it is, the playoffs is like a season by itself.
Yes,
The regular
a
season is
whole new
one thing,
season.
but when the playoff starts, that's like a whole new season by itself. And the thing about playoff basketball is you have just one team to focus on,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
During the regular season, you don't have time to focus on one team, relentlessly, to sit down in the film room and break down film and break down
No, you
tendencies.
can't.
So during the playoffs, coaches have the time to do that. It's just one team you got to focus on.
Yeah.
And that's why they say playoff basketball is like a whole new season. And we seeing some really good basketball, even though it's being unpredictable. And I think that's a good thing too. When it's unpredictable and you have these teams, just the Pacers, the Knicks, just balling out.
I mean, I went from last year listening to Stephen A. because, you know, I watch First Take every morning. Even if I'm not watching, it's playing, in the background
Yeah. Yep.
or
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
And I remember when Stephen A. just started crying, and he was like, his Knicks, his Knicks, his Knicks. And then when they traded for Carl Anthony Towns, I was still kind of like, yeah, I still don't see them going finals,
Yeah.
and throughout the season, you knew they were going to be there. You know they were going to be in that fourth seed kind of thing, whatever. And I'm like, all right, yeah, they're going to make it, but they'll win the first round, but second round they're going to be gone. And
Yeah.
that's kind of where I was. And I think even Stephen A, as a big Knicks fan, he kind of thought the same thing too. Look, historically, am I a Knicks fan? No. But, like I said, Patrick Ewing and stuff, and they've always had, Marcus Camby. They've always had some good players that you could always kind of like, oh
Yeah.
man, I like their game or whatever.
Yep.
But that style of play that Brunson has brought is, you got to talk about it. You got to talk about the Knicks. I mean, the clutchness of Brunson. I think that's where it is. Josh Hart just playing with, I don't know where he got that extra that he got to
Yeah.
come off the bench and bring, but he brings an energy with him. Ananobi got his own thing going. But I think for me tonight was to see Carl Anthony Towns with that dunk. He was cutting, and he
Yeah.
got that pass from Ananobi, and he dunked that thing. Man, I
Yep.
was up. I was like, okay, that's it, that's it, that's it, that's it. I'm jumping. I was like, wait a minute, I'm
Yeah.
jumping for the Knicks.
Yeah. 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 Carl Anthony Towns. He's to me like the X factor for that team, because if he brings it the way he's brought it, especially tonight,
Yeah,
I mean, that just gives them an extra dimension, because you know what Brunson's gonna do. You
yeah.
know Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, they're gonna do their thing. But Carl Anthony Towns, man, when he brings it, it's just tough for them, for any
And
team
I
to
mean,
beat them.
I think what I love about this series is it's not a big travel, right? Like even like Minnesota and or even Houston, um, and when they played and stuff like that, the distance you had to travel was always so much, right?
Yeah,
Going from Golden State to Houston, and even now going from Golden State to um, Minnesota, it's still a difference in that travel.
correct.
New York to Boston ain't nothing.
Not that far. Correct. True.
New York to Boston ain't nothing,
True.
especially on private jet, especially on that. Well, they got charter jet, but especially on that charter, it was a 30-minute ride. They're not tired. They're not losing sleep. It's not like having to travel the
True.
night before or whatever and playing. You could literally travel game day and still be okay if you
Yeah.
wanted to. That's how
Yeah, it's
much
a quick flight.
you know. Yeah, that's how much for me. It's like it is awesome because you have no
That's
excuse.
right. That's right. And Jalen Brunson continues to amaze me, because for his height, he's
Yes.
not that tall. I'm guessing he's the
No.
shortest player on the court on both teams. And for him
Yes.
to be doing what he does, I mean, what do you have tonight? 39 tonight? For him to be doing what he
Yeah.
does against taller players, taller, longer players, and still putting up buckets, he continues to amaze me, man. I-
He's had 226 points so far
yeah,
in the playoffs
yeah,
total. But think about this, right? Last game they kind of changed up a
mhm,
little bit on him, and so when they doubled, he saw a lot of length. I
yes,
mean, they were on him, and so he couldn't score much last game. And it's almost like he said, "Okay, you're gonna play me this way. Guess what? I
yeah,
got something for you." And he went home and said, "What do I
yes,
need to do
yes.
to fix this?" And he
And
came back tonight
I'm
with an
pretty,
answer. And the Celtics could not pivot and adjust to come back and
yeah,
do anything to him.
I'm pretty
And
sure
that
in
was
the off
crazy.
day they probably looked at film, and probably some of the assistant coaches, broke down some film with him and show him where he could be effective on the court, where his shots are coming from, you know. So he definitely put in the homework and came out balling tonight, on fire, especially the third quarter. He had a huge third quarter. But he like I say, for somebody his height, you know, to be doing what he's doing
Yeah,
on a consistent basis, that's impressive to me, man.
yeah. 39 points tonight, 14 of 25, 4 of 8
Yeah.
3 points,
Mm,
12 assists. So he
yeah.
had a double
He's
double.
doing it all. He's doing it
Five
all.
rebounds. He's the
I know.
shortest. He's the shortest man. He's not supposed to have five. He's not supposed to have 5 rebounds. Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no. There's no
He's been
way.
so
There's no
impressive,
way.
man.
But you're right. 18 points in the third quarter. I mean, you could not ask that young man to do anything else. And I'm sure his dad is just beaming as he himself a New York Knick
That
before.
must, yeah, that must be
Just
nice. That must be an awesome feeling, you
yes,
know, to be on the sidelines, your dad, watching your son, do what he does on the basketball court. That's
yes,
gotta be an
yes,
awesome feeling as a parent, as a dad, you know, to see him competing at the highest level. Yeah, that's an
yeah,
amazing feeling.
yeah. I mean, he scored 75 plus points in fourth quarters alone.
Yeah, he's a big time
I
player,
know.
man.
Yeah,
He's big.
it's funny. The only two people he joins in that. Guess who? I give you a guess. Who else has 75 in fourth
In
quarters?
this playoffs.
No, overall.
Wow, in the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter, he made history. I have well
Uh,
overall, right? So in the fourth quarters, he's had 75 points, and he's joined by only two other people.
in NBA history.
Yep,
Wow, I'm guessing Jordan got to be the one of them.
there's only been three players to score 75 plus fourth quarter points through the first 7 games of a postseason run.
MJ. What? MJ not one
Nope,
of them? Damn.
nope.
Kobe.
Kobe,
That's my man.
2008.
Ooh-wee. Uh,
He's short like Bronson too now.
oh
He's a
yeah,
short guy. But he can shoot that free from anywhere.
Steph.
Steph, 2023, Steph.
Wow, he's another big shot. Yeah,
Big
yeah,
shot
that's
Bob.
yeah, unbelievable, man. That's called clutch. When you could, when the
Yes.
fourth quarter comes around, you probably played, you already played a lot of minutes. The wear and
He had a lot of
tear,
minutes.
the bumping, the
Yes.
physicality, and still have legs,
Yeah.
you know, to make shots in the fourth quarter. That's that's impressive.
Yeah. Now, the Celtics still had almost a 70% probability to win the game tonight. Even being down and all
Uh,
that 2-1, they still thought
yeah,
they were going to win
yeah,
tonight. I mean, I think I would have taken the betting odds if I was a
yeah.
betting person because
Well, I feel
it's been
bad for
crazy. But
Tatum, Jason Tatum. It looked like he hurt his foot. I don't know if it's an ankle or a knee or what. I just I hate to see players getting injured, you know, at any time, but especially during the playoffs, because you want the best players on the court. You don't want excuses. You want to be like, they won this season. You know,
you know, you know what? I'ma call it. It's part of the game. It is part of the game. And what's the story, man? Just like in the NFL,
next man
next
up.
man up.
Yeah, I mean Steph.
Next man up. You're on that team. You're on that team making millions
Yeah,
for a reason. So when your number called, I feel like the drop off from Jason to his replacement shouldn't be that drastic, right? That and
It's
that takes us to a whole different conversation. But hear me out. I think that has always been
mhm.
my issue with teams as a whole. That
Yeah,
one person goes down, and I'm not talking to Steph or Jason Tatum, so to speak, because they're special,
correct.
right, in their own ways. But that next person off the bench gotta give you something.
True.
They gotta be able to give you something so that your other stars can still bring it home. But I feel like overall the drop off on all these teams is
It
so
is.
great
It is.
that one of them go down and that's it. I watched in that first round with the Memphis Grizzlies when uh what's the name went down. They were up by what was that? However many points, like 25,
Oh,
30 points,
Memphis.
whatever it was that
Yeah,
game.
before I think Ja
Yeah,
got hurt.
yeah. But they were up. They were winning that
I
game
know.
by
I know.
far. And I mean, John Morant got hurt, and
They
it
took a
was
nosedive.
like
I
it was
know.
night and day. You cannot tell me that the next person up cannot help you maintain a lead like that. I mean, why are we paying them millions then? Why are
There's
we
a
paying
there's
them
a lot
millions?
of guys on the bench in the NBA, in college, in high school, whatever level it's at, that are just not talented enough or skilled enough to help a team win. And that's why the
So then
drop
I
off is
ask you,
so significant when you lose, a Steph Curry or Ja Morant or in this case, Jason Tatum. You know, they just don't have.
so my question to you is, why is the drop off so
Well,
bad?
that's what.
You sit, and you go through. You watch March Madness, and March Madness gives you all these talented college
Yeah,
players every year, right? And we go through the draft, and we go through the 3 rounds, and we see, whoever's picked or whatever, and then you come out and you have the D League that's supposed to be developing some of
correct.
these young players, and you have all this stuff. Yet I see these benches come on. I see these players come off the bench. And don't get me wrong, surprisingly, I'm sitting here going, the Lakers had a decent bench. Because, you know, you could, the problem with them, they were
Yeah,
inconsistent. But if everything's clicking on a good day, they had a pretty decent bench this year. With Vandy and some of the others that were
correct.
coming off the bench. Some of these other teams have
Nothing.
nothing. They
And that's a
have
testament
nothing
general
coming off
managers.
the bench.
That question is for all the general managers in the league that have these guys on the roster that really can't help their team win. It's like,
Yeah. You look at Chet Holmgren. He was out for what? Almost half the season, maybe
yeah,
3 quarters of the season.
a
OKC did
beat.
not miss a
Correct.
beat. They
Yep.
dominated
Yep.
the
They're a
regular
deep team.
season. They're a deep team. Chet can go down this for a quarter, a game, or whatever. I promise you
Yep.
they will still hold on
I agree.
because they have enough on that team. And credit to um the
Yes.
general manager
Absolutely.
because he has been able to keep them relevant over the last few years. I mean, let's just be real. He brought in, I mean, he had uh Durant, and that click.
Yeah,
He's
with
he
James
started
Harden.
with that, and
Yeah, you're
he
right.
yeah he has kept
Yep,
OKC relevant
yep,
throughout all this for them to be where
exactly.
they are now. So I mean, I give him credit, and I would love to see OKC, if nothing else, just for the fact that these fans, when you look, they're just so loyal. I'd
Yes,
love to see them win. At the end of the day, I think the Knicks for me and OKC could go to the
yep.
finals and I'd be fine. It's not gonna happen, but I
Well,
think
you
I'd be
never
fine.
know. You never know. That's why they play
You
the
never
games.
know. Yep, yep. I have been just amazed. Like I said, the Pacers having the Cavs where they are. I feel bad for Donovan Mitchell because
Yeah,
uh, that's just where I'm at. I feel bad for Donovan Mitchell.
yeah. I always try to think like, is it something with maybe the strength and conditioning coach, you know, that's not properly, I don't know if it's the workout that they put in. I don't know. I just don't understand why they getting, these players getting injured, you know, so frequently. I mean, we're talking about star players, you know, just out. And it's like,
Yeah, I mean, and Mitchell so far,
hmm,
right? Playoff stats: 31.1 points,
oh, he's a
point three
baller.
points per game, 5 assists,
He's a baller.
5 rebounds. That's average. Shooting
He's
47.5
a
percent.
baller.
Yeah, and you turn around. I mean, they won game three. Game two, he had 48 points by himself, 43 in game three. They won 48 in game two, and despite all that,
Yeah,
they still
yeah,
lost because they just fell apart and lost the game by one. But that ankle injury, just like Tatum,
that's tough.
and I don't see him coming back. So, I'm ceding the series to the Pacers because he's not coming back for the next
Yeah,
game, and the Pacers are playing at home. I don't see the Cavs winning. I mean, everybody would have to
yep,
dig
yep.
deep for the Cavs. All right, let's talk
Yeah,
Western
yeah.
Conference now. All right, who you got? Who you got? Who you got right now between the Nuggets and OKC? Do you see them coming back anywhere?
Yeah, I think OKC got this series. I think they figured something out defensively, especially against Joker. I think they figured something out. I was watching the press
Yes.
conference the other day, and Joker was saying that they, OKC, they're playing him physical. You know, it's like he's seeing multiple bodies around him at all times. And I was like, I've never heard him in all my years watching him play. I've never heard him say anything about the defense. And OKC, yeah, they're frustrating him. Some of the shots that he's missing, I'm like, that ain't Joker. He don't miss those shots. So yeah, I got OKC winning this
but
series, no doubt.
but I feel like it's a series now. 2-2. And I'm be honest, I didn't expect the Nuggets to be there. I honestly thought they were going to go out
Mm,
in the first round because of the way
correct.
the Clippers was playing. I thought. I
Yeah.
thought they were gonna go out, but they made it, and I was like, Shaq Gilchrist gonna kill them. I mean, he's been having a game, but to see the Joker struggle has been one thing, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't know. They're tied to a piece. We got game three tomorrow. Oh, sorry, game
Yep.
five
Yep.
tomorrow in OKC. I see them winning. I see
Yes.
OKC winning.
Yes.
But I want to believe that Denver, when they go back, will have will play a different game playing at home for pride. I see it going seven.
Huh. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be
I see it going
surprised.
seven.
But I still think OKC.
But if it goes seven, if it
Mm.
goes seven, right? Now you have the Minnesota uh, Golden State series, which I think is over.
Well, if if
Don't well me. Don't you
if
well
Steph
me.
come back, I still think they have a shot. If Steph comes back, if he don't, it's over. But right now, I'm watching this game. It's a 1 point lead, second quarter. So Golden State putting up a fight. They're, they're putting up a fight.
Okay, they're gonna
Was
try.
that?
They're gonna try. They're gonna try. I have no doubt that
Well, yeah. I
they're
mean, they're
gonna
well
try.
coached.
But Minnesota has put on a defense on uh, Golden State that Steve Kerr, for as good
Hmm.
a coach as he is, I haven't seen him pivot yet to where he can make like when he comes back out, I'm expecting
Yeah,
something else, and I see the same thing.
yeah. I mean, he's pretty much running his offense. It's hard to to run a system that you've been running all these years and then switch it up in the playoffs. So he's running what he normally runs. Um, but Minnesota, I mean, their length, their athleticism, yeah, you could see it. It's bothering, Golden State.
Yeah. Uh, Edwards Edwards has been averaging 36.7 in this series. All
Anthony
right,
Edwards,
and
you said
yeah,
36.
36.7
Oh
points
wow,
per
I
game.
didn't know he was averaging that much. I know he had a big game last game.
Yeah. So you got that, and you got the fact that look, Butler surprisingly had what 33
Yes,
points last
yeah, he
game.
was
Now,
carrying them on his back.
yes, but how many games can he do that?
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, Jonathan Kuminga had a
And I mean, and that right now is your matchup because it's Jimmy Butler versus Ant Edwards.
yes,
That's your
yes.
big matchup right now. So how far Golden State goes really depends on how far Jimmy can carry them because I don't see Steph coming back if they're 3-1.
You never know. I hope he does, man. I heard they say he was working out today. They said he had a light workout today. So
Okay.
it sounds to me like, he might be back on the court next game. That's what it sounds like to me. And without Steph, they can't win this series.
Now I'm going to tell you my X factor for
Who
this
that?
series. Julius
He's been
Randle.
balling.
Where that person was, and why did Kobe let them get rid of him when they shipped him out?
Yeah.
I don't know, but he has truly developed, and I don't know what it was about the Knicks. He got over there, and it was his home, and he really grew. And you're right, it's something about their conditioning that is
Yeah,
suspect because he always got hurt. And I think that's the one thing, we didn't see Kobe really go down with a major injury to keep him out
the
until that
Achilles,
Achilles.
yes,
Until that Achilles. Even LeBron, we haven't really seen him go down with a major injury to keep him out a
true.
whole season like that. He's in and out. And as he's gotten
Mm,
older, we've seen some of the other stuff creep up. But it hasn't been a whole season. It's something about the way they
got to
keep their
be.
body. I don't know if they how they wrap their ankles and how they, whatever
Yeah,
supports they use. But I tell you what, a lot of people could take some notes in what they did and what they do to keep them on the court because those two they didn't miss. And LeBron's gonna be 41, but I give him that. He played a lot of games this
yeah,
year and last year for
yeah,
somebody that age. And yes, he had the little um what is that groin or hamstring injury, whatever that kind of caused a setback. But you know, those are some of the things that they need to look at because this year with Randall being
yeah,
healthy, we have seen a whole different person playing for
yeah. He
Minnesota.
Julius Randle really surprised me in that Lakers series in the first round. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
he
he let them hold one. He let them hold a
he
couple.
yeah, yeah. He's been bringing it, man, for real. So I've been impressed with Julius. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the only thing I can say is, for Minnesota, they keep feeding Edwards and he keeps scoring.
Yeah.
That's gonna be it. Uh, the T Wolves have just dominated on the
Yeah. That
glass.
Len.
Their rebounding has been what like plus
Yep.
15 or something like
Yep.
that over
Yep.
the yeah. I mean, and I think Randall being in the paint is just different. And I'm going to sit here and tell you, when they got rid of
Uh,
Carl Anthony Towns for Julius Randle, I was like, what
I
the
know.
hell is Minnesota doing? I was sitting there going, yeah, okay. But I remember they gave up so much for what's his name? Just like that, his
Well,
name
Rudy
has gone
Gobert.
out my head. Rudy Gobert. That I felt like for monies and all this, balancing off they had to get rid of a big contract and they got
Yeah.
rid of Towns because they
Right.
had Gobert. But I was still skeptical. I was like, what are they doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I didn't. I truly
I
questioned it
did too.
as a fan. As a
Yeah.
basketball fan, I questioned it. It's paying
It
off right
is.
now. It's paying off for them right now.
And I think they gave up like four or five first round picks to Utah to get Rudy Gobert.
Yeah,
And
for
I was
Gobert.
like, what?
I don't see him. It's weird because I don't see him as the defensive player that he used to be. Like, had they done it maybe
Yeah.
4 years ago, I probably would have been like, okay. But when they did it 2 years ago, I was kind of
Yeah.
like,
I was like, they're giving
eh,
up that much?
exactly. And then they got rid of Town. So I'm sitting here going, what are they
Yeah.
doing? But clearly the switch worked for Towns. Let's see where the Knicks are. And it worked for Randall because see where the T
Yeah.
Wolves are
Yeah.
now.
The thing about that trade that kind of had me a little skeptical was Divincenzo is his name,
And
because
he's
I wanted
doing
to keep that Villanova crew together, you know. So when they
it.
added him in the
Yeah.
trade, I was like, why? But hey, it's worked out for both teams, so it's all
Yes,
good.
it has. It has. I'll tell you who is also working out is Buddy Hill. And I'm a Laker fan. I'll
Hmm.
always be a Laker fan. When Lakers had the chance to get him a couple years ago, I always said, why didn't they? And then they kept his name kept coming up back all the time, coming back to the Lakers. Him and the one that went to the Golden State Warriors. And I'm sitting, they both went to the Warriors, and I was like, why didn't the Lakers
Yeah,
pull the trigger and just go for it?
yeah.
No,
We have an
no,
we have
we
an
never
incompetent
do.
general manager, and yeah, Rob Palinka.
Sometimes I feel like Rob hits a home run with certain things by
Yeah,
accident. It's like that swing just happened to be the right swing. It's like, oh shoot, oh dang, oh it's going. All right,
yeah.
I'm good. And then other times it's like, Rob,
I
what are you
know.
doing, man? What are you doing? And
Yeah, it's frustrating.
I sit here now and I watch the Connect trade and what they were giving up, and I'm sitting there going, you know what? You could have given up Connect the way you used him and brought in the young man from, and they would have probably, I think they would have made it out, barring
Yeah.
barring injury. I think it would have. I think the
Mhm.
end result could only have been better,
Yeah,
not worse, because you didn't use
at
Connect
all.
and the lob threat that Luca wanted, which you can tell that's what he wanted because he tried to do it
Hmm.
with Jackson Hayes, it would
Yeah,
have been there. And so I don't know. It's that's always there in the background. I always feel like he swings. It just don't connect
yeah,
all the time.
yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what Palinka does. How he upgrades this roster, this Lakers roster. This coming, during the off season, during free agency, um, through the draft. It'd be interesting to see who they draft. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, but who is there to draft this year? This is not one of those
Yeah, it's not a deep
who
draft.
drafts like
It's not a deep
you know
draft at
you
all.
no you're
So
like okay now draft
yeah,
lottery was tonight.
that's right.
The Mavs,
How they
the
pull that off?
Mavs, the Mavs got the first
Unbelievable.
pick.
Unfriggin' believable. I was like,
Ah,
how they do that?
you think they're pulling
Of
Cooper Flag?
course. Of course. You add Cooper Flag, to that roster, you're automatically a better team.
if you can keep, if you can keep um, everybody healthy,
Hmm.
Anthony Davis especially,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. Last season, Anthony Davis played more games than he had any other
that's
season
right.
for the Lakers. Not just the
Overall.
Lakers, just
Yes.
overall. And I felt like whatever he did in terms of his eating habits and his workout regimen and whatever else they were doing to keep him
Yeah.
on the court, managing the time and all that, they need to do the same thing if you're going to keep him, if you're going to get the results that you expect out
Yeah.
of that team. You have to find a way to get him to eat right, stay healthy, and be on the
Yep.
court. Kyrie's gonna come back when he can come back,
Yeah.
you know, and he's gonna be
Of
he's gonna be
course.
Kyrie. He's gonna be Kyrie now. I'm gonna temper that a little bit because he's getting older, and this is what his second
Who
knee injury. Kyrie, isn't this like his second
is
knee
it?
injury or something? I gotta find that out. But yeah, I think it's his second, and so I don't know. We may have to temper
Yeah.
expectations just a little bit, but I still think he's gonna give you 100, and I still think he's gonna give you a
Oh,
good
absolutely.
showing. And now you add a young Cooper Flag. If you can keep them all healthy and on the court,
Yeah.
I think they'll make play. I think
I
they
think
might
so
make the
too.
playoffs. I don't think they'll win it,
I
but
think
I think they'll
Kyrie
make the
should be
playoffs.
back probably the second half of the season. So probably
Yeah,
probably around after the All Star break next year, and I think they'll make a push for the playoffs for sure.
yeah, yeah.
But I still can't believe they got the number one
But
pick.
when you talk about the rich
Hmm.
getting richer, San Antonio Spurs had the number one pick 2 years ago. They got one
Yeah,
pick. They had, I can't remember what they had last year, two or three, and they still ended up with another rookie of the year.
that's
Two
right.
rookies of the
That's
year,
right.
back to back,
Yes,
right? They have they
they
have the
got a
second
second
overall
pick,
pick.
and they got the I think they got the 14th pick also. They got two picks.
I'm sitting there going, how does that happen? How
Yeah,
does that happen? How does that? The damn Spurs are
they
building,
are.
and you know what I see? I see an OKC waiting to happen. May not happen. You know, they have Chris Paul, and he's kind of like the floor general and everything, and they got Wemby, and they got the other young guy and everything, and they may make that push, but I don't
I
know.
think
We'll
they're on
see.
the right track. My only concern with the Spurs is their coaching because this young kid that just took over for Pops, um, I'm I'm still questioning his coaching ability. So we'll see.
Yeah,
But as far as talent, I
we'll
think
see.
they're accumulating the right talent.
Yes, yes. And then to round it off, you have the Charlotte Hornets and Utah Jazz. And I felt bad for the Wizards who ended up landing at six, which probably not where they
Yeah,
wanted to be because the Wizards needed some help. But you know, um, Philly, Philly at three is also. I mean,
yeah.
that's not
My
a.
only thing with this draft is besides Cooper Flag, like there's not a lot of impact players that can come in and help you right
Yeah,
now. You know, it's guys that probably is gonna need 2 to 3 years to really you know get accumulated to the NBA lifestyle, the NBA style of game. You know, so that's the only thing about this draft. There's not a whole lot of impact players.
yeah. I mean, you got the one kid from Rutgers. Um, and there were a couple others that had, as you watch some of the March Madness, you kind of saw
Mhm.
flashes. But I think the one thing about March Madness for me is, as much as I love to build my brackets and all that stuff, I feel like you don't. it to me it reminds me of the NFL or college football in that it's a
Yeah,
one and done, right? You win, you
you
move
go home.
on, you lose, you go home. End of story. You don't really get to see beyond those that move on. You don't really get to see some of the players. You kind of get one. You
Yeah,
followed the whole season and you followed that
correct.
team all season. And it's hard to keep up with so many college games
It
that
is.
sometimes, unless you're like an avid, okay, I gotta watch this because it's my job,
Yeah,
you're not
yeah,
watching all those college games.
exactly, exactly.
And I always think that's hard. But
Yeah, unless
before
you're
we
getting
get,
paid.
yeah, big money.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, I'm a University of Florida fan.
Okay.
Um, started to do my engineering degree there, so ended up, I lived in Tampa and
Yeah.
lived in Pensacola, so ended up being a UF um, person. But even with winning, I still couldn't tell you who was on that team this year. Now, flashback to when Billy Donovan was on there, and
Uh,
kids were spending more than one season
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
I can tell you who was on that team with um, Al Horford back then.
That's
You know what
right.
I mean?
That's right. I think they won back-to-back championships, if I remember
Right.
correctly.
Yeah. Right?
Al Horford, Joaquin Noah.
Yep.
I think Corey Brewer was on that team too.
Yep.
So
Corey Brewer. That was my
yeah,
boy.
yeah. But those
That was my
guys
boy.
played what, 3 years, 2 to 3 years.
But Brewer was already injured. And we knew that coming out of college.
Uh
And Joaquin Noah was good, but what I tell you about big men, they can't stay on the court. I
I
don't
know.
care what you do,
I know. I know.
they can't stay on the court.
Yep.
And that's it. But I mean, 2006, 2007,
Yeah.
I remember those three names though.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't tell you two players on
And
that
this
Florida
is
team.
yeah.
This, I mean, so
Yeah. That's with the
it's
transfer portal and the one and
exactly,
duns and
yeah,
you know, yeah.
yeah.
It's hard to keep up.
All right, last thing before we will hear what's on your mind.
Okay.
Yanis is going to entertain other teams.
I saw that. Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
you see him going.
Wow.
If you could have your pick
Uh-huh.
objectively, you're like, man, if he went there, that would just skyrocket that team.
Well,
Where do you see him?
I want him on the Lakers. I want to get rid of Austin Reeves. I want to trade Austin Reeves for Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Okay,
That's what I want to do. If I'm the
you would
team,
get rid of Austin
yes, I would.
for Giannis.
And probably two first round draft picks or a first and a, yeah, I would do it.
Wow,
I would make that move in a heartbeat.
I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming from you.
Yeah, that would take us over the hump for sure. For sure.
Really,
Oh yeah,
really,
absolutely.
really, really. So I was thinking it would take more than Austin Reeves.
It would, yeah, it would.
So I actually
Gonna be a
thought,
couple first round
I
picks.
said it would be Dalton Connect,
They might have to add him in that deal, yes.
Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura.
Yeah.
We would probably end up losing those three
Uh-huh.
to get Giannis
Yeah, I would do that.
in a heartbeat.
I would do it. I would like to keep Dalton Connect, but
I don't see any deal going through without them taking connect, because the Lakers, that one um, first round that they kept by not doing that deal,
Hmm.
would be what, 2029. So it wouldn't be like an immediate impact. So that's why I think you would have to give up connect
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
in order for
Most
you to in order
Giannis.
uh for you to get Giannis.
Yeah, most likely. Most likely.
But I'm sitting here going, you still, if you can still keep Gabe Vincent and Jared Vanderbilt off the bench,
Uh-huh.
Giannis, I don't know. I don't know if I would want to get rid of Rui. I don't know. I have this soft spot in my heart for Rui Hachimura.
Why?
So
Because he was in Washington?
no, no, no. I don't know why. Even when Washington drafted him,
Uh-huh.
I kind of hated it for him because I was like, oh my god, he's coming to DC. Ain't nobody gonna see him. And then when he got traded to the Lakers, I was like, oh man, great move for the Lakers because I always felt like he could be more than what he was doing
Uh-huh.
in DC. But I don't know what it is about him. I just always liked him. Um, so
Yeah. I'm iffy on Rui, man.
okay, I didn't say he was
I'm iffy on
consistent.
Rui.
I said he was. I just have a soft spot
I
for him.
just wish he was a better defender. I wish he had more dog in him, you know,
Yeah,
for somebody that's what, 6'8", 6'9", you know. I just wanted to see more, you know, more tenacity from him. Um, so I'm iffy on Rui.
yeah, but I think it's gonna take Dalton, maybe AR, and to get Giannis. And so everybody keeps saying about these great places and these great deals and whatever, but
Mhm.
Giannis hasn't really come out and said where he wants to play. And I'm sitting here going, would he want to play with LeBron?
Uh,
I think he'd want to play with Luca.
yes,
I
yes,
think he'd want to play with Luca.
yes,
I
definitely,
don't doubt that.
definitely.
The question has always been, and it's something about greatness, okay?
Uh,
Because Kobe was the same way. He kind of turned off certain players
Other players, yes,
from wanting to come to play with him.
that's right, that's
And
right.
whether it was his style of play, whether it was just the way he was, but Kobe had that dog in him, and it was Mamba or nothing. Okay, so you know
That's
that
right.
Mamba mentality was real. You're
Yes,
gonna you're
yeah,
gonna put in the work, and
that's
that
right,
was it for him. End of
that's right.
story.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
I look at LeBron, and like I said, the way he has kept up his body
Mhm.
all those years.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I would want to keep on playing. I would want somebody to come play with him, but I just feel like sometimes there's just that negative connotation that follows him around.
I know, I know. Yeah, I would love to see it happen, but I'm pessimistic that it will happen because I have no faith in Rob Palinka.
To pull it off.
Yeah,
Well, it all teams are open, man. Rob just gotta. I think I'll be honest. It can't be Rob going to talk to Giannis. Rob is an agent.
yeah,
At his heart, he's an agent.
yep,
For
yep.
me, it needs to be Magic. It needs to be Worthy,
Mm-hmm.
Cooper,
Yep, yep.
and throw in Luca.
I agree.
That's who has to go talk to Giannis and put that thing. And while you're putting people on the bench, you got to say, and we'll take your brother too.
Yeah, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you can get rid of um, Alex Len.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
You can get rid of Alex Len. Just go ahead and cut him and put Giannis's brother
Yep.
at the end of that bench. Because you
Absolutely.
know that's a package goddamn deal.
Absolutely. I agree.
but that's where I am with it. I was like, go ahead and do that. All right,
No.
talk to us. It's all on you.
Uh oh. Yeah.
Oh, did I do that? I
Oh
did
wow.
that.
Golden State is leading at halftime.
Uh
They're up by 4 right now.
oh.
Well, yes. Welcome to another episode of Just My Thoughts, presented to you by Genius Minds. And today, I want to honor all of the mothers out there. In honor of Mother's Day, which was yesterday, just a big shout out to all the moms. Um, as a coach, being a coach out here in California for over 20 years, it's always the moms, bringing the kids to practice, bringing them to games, you know, moms coming up to me after the game, hey, Coach G, why isn't my son getting, enough playing time, you know? Or, I have moms come to me, hey, Coach G, my son really looks up to you. Um, can you talk to him about doing his chores? So I've had so many conversations with moms over the years. So I just want to give a big shout out to all the moms, all the mothers out there, um, that's, you know, putting in the work, holding the family together, um, and just, doing their best. They're the first ones up in the morning, probably the last ones to go to sleep at night, getting kids ready for school, you know, taking them to soccer practices, basketball practices, tennis practices, cheerleading practice, whatever it is, you know, moms have, just so much responsibilities. So I just want to give a big shout out in honor of Mother's Day, which was yesterday. A big shout out to all the moms out there. Just want you to know that you are loved, you are honored, and you are appreciated. And this is just my thoughts, just what I'm feeling at the time. You know what I mean? Peace and love.
All right. Thank you for that. I tell you what, for me, someone who lost their mom, it's like you at an early age.
Yes.
Well, I know what it is to miss having mom around.
Yeah.
Um, I always say I was blessed. Um, my mom had a sister who was 2 years older than her,
Mm.
and so whenever my mom wasn't available, my aunt always stepped in. She never had kids of her own, so she took the three of us as hers.
Yeah.
So when my mom passed, we still had her. Well, she passed 2 years ago, and then I was like, wow, I'm still blessed. Why? Because our dad left us somebody else that we can call mom, right? Somebody that I can call every now and then and be like,
Yeah.
hey, Jen. So big shout outs to our stepmom, Jen, just for
Yes. Yes.
still being there. And, a lot of times as a stepmom, you could step away, especially when that person that glue that brought you together is no longer there. You're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you can step away and say, well, your dad passed. I really don't have to check on you anymore. But
Right.
still being there, still checking on us. So
Yes.
shout out to Jen.
Amen to that.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for a wonderful evening. Again, tune in, like, subscribe, Sibling Sync. Good night.
And it's just like that. Peace and love.